Namaskar, thank you for joining us on the Economic Brief, where we look at key stories from the worlds of economy, business and finance and contextualize them from a local and a global perspective. On the program today, we look at how India has created 170 million jobs in the last 10 years. The data was presented in the Lok Sabha by the Minister of State for Labour, Shobha Karandalaje. While we look at jobs and growth, we'll also look at innovation and displacement and how rapid innovation and restructuring because of AI is leading to large-scale tech layoffs. It took Rio Tinto 2 years to obtain the permits for its lithium project in Serbia, but environmentalists don't want the biggest lithium mine in Europe to be exploited. We leave you with the top business stories of the week in brief. Let's begin by looking at some important data. On jobs, 170 million jobs have been created over the last 10 years, according to data that was presented in the Lok Sabha by the Minister of State for Labour in the Lok Sabha by Shobha Karandalaje. And that was a written answer that she gave. But it provided data that was given by RBI, and it talked about how there have been 170 million jobs being created. One can always argue that the basic purpose of a government is employment and employability, which is one of the key priorities of this government, because every expenditure of the government should be creating an impetus in the economy for growth, and that, of course, should be generating jobs. So if we look at the data behind me, we can see that in 2014-15, there were 471.5 million jobs that were around at that point of time, which has risen to 643.3 million jobs in 2023-24, as measured by the RBI over the last 10 years. Now, this measurement uses what we can see is what's called this model, which is the CLEMS model. The CLEMS model is the Capital, Labour, Energy, Material, Services database. It's a well-rounded database which covers all sectors, as we can see quite clearly. And there is the other form, which is also the Periodical Labour Force Survey, which is the official data source of the government. So these are different methods by which the government gets data on jobs. We can also see that the worker population ratio, the WPR, has been growing along with the economy. That's a sign that, of course, as growth is taking place, jobs are also being created. And there's the NCS portal, which is a career service portal of the government. And it shows that 10.9 million vacancies were posted in the year 2023-24. But if we look at 2015 onwards, we can see that there has been a total of 29 million, in fact, vacancies that have been filled up. So very clearly, we can see that on all fronts, the measurements seem to indicate that lots of jobs have been created in the economy. We can also understand that the Indian economy, of course, has been growing rapidly at around 8%. We can say clocking a growth of around 8%. That has naturally created jobs in the economy. And apart from that, it is positioning India for that big push, as India is looking at what's called the Amrit Kal, where it is pushing fast towards becoming a developed economy by the year 2047. So to understand the models that are involved and how this employment generation is actually helping the Indian economy, we have with us Dr. Amit Kapoor. He's the honorary chairman at the Institute of Competitiveness, a well-known economist, and he is a lecturer as well at Stanford University. Thanks, Dr. Amit Kapoor, for being with us. You know, what's the direct impact of 170 million jobs being generated? What does this do actually for productivity?
So, Mark, this is a very, very important question in terms of what's really happening. So what we really see here is that there is a boost in employment, and this boost in employment typically correlates with higher levels of economic activity. So we are definitely seeing that there is a higher level of economic activity at present. And that is also being shown through the numbers that we are seeing. And I would just like to share a few numbers here. And if you really look at the CLEMS database that was just released, and it is, of course, based on the PLFS data and the survey that the government of India does. So what we see is that there is a huge improvement in the gross value added across the board. On business services, like if you really look at from the period of 2014 to 2023, the employment has risen by about 6.75%, but the gross value added has increased by close to 15%. So this reflects that there is a significant boost in productivity that we are really seeing at this point in time. The other thing on agriculture, which has always been the pet peeve across the country or across the world, that their productivity is not increasing, but out here as well, we see vast improvement in productivity. The CAGR in employment is about 2%, exactly 1.97%, but the GVA growth is close to about 9.99%, which is effectively 10% itself. And this reflects an improvement in productivity per se. And of course, it could have happened because of mechanization and stuff that has happened, better productivity across the farm sector.
Right.
And if you really go deeper and if you really look at the health and the social sector itself, what we do find is that in this period, the CAGR is about 5.23% over this time frame of 2014 until 2023. And there is this higher demand of services within the social space that we are seeing. Could be possible because we are seeing aging population which needs better services. There is a huge focus on the social welfare programs that the government is doing, and we are seeing that improvement. And last but not the least, if you really go deeper into the financial sector as well, we are seeing a massive employment growth as well of close to about 3.3%. You might not term it as massive, but what we are seeing is that the financial sector has been a fairly significant sector within the country, and we are seeing growth there.
Right.
And this is reflective of a expansion of the sector that we are seeing right now. So the financial services will continue to grow, and it is happening at the backdrop of what we would call as the Jan Dhan Aadhaar Mobile, the JAM Treaty thing, which has actually happened. So what we see is that collectively, there is a significant boost in productivity that we are seeing over a period of time.
Also, Dr. Kapoor, what's the best way to measure job creation so that we can effectively value jobs that are being created in the unorganized sector as well?
So, this becomes, again, this is an important step that the government will have to take in terms of how do we really look at the unorganized sector. We will have to look at data collection mechanism or effective capture of informal employment. Right now, we do have some surveys, but we will have to go deeper in terms of understanding the dynamics that exist here, of especially with the job creation within the unorganized sector. There are some other aspects, some strategies to understand job creation in the informal sector would be to better include serving informal enterprises. Because when you talk about informal enterprises, typically we might miss it. I'm sure that the PLFS design has happened in such a way that we look at these people, but we will have to go deeper in terms of understanding this as well. The other aspect which we are not talking about is about the quality of jobs. So we also have to find a way to assess the quality of jobs being created and what are the job security that we have, what are the working conditions, what are the income levels. Like in India, what we have seen over a period of time is that we have seen significant rise in gig work or gig workers. So they can be the informal people, but we have to find a better way of understanding what is happening.
The gig economy. Dr. Kapoor, also, since you did talk about higher value jobs and better paid jobs, do you see a growth of niche jobs, ones that, are driving innovation, creating new frontiers for the economy to enter? Because, entrepreneurs alone don't make things happen. People who have ideas, they lack capital and organization, and they take these ideas to the entrepreneurs who take it the distance. So these people are usually employed as innovators, aren't they?
Oh, definitely. So, this would be a wrong statement to make if at all that everybody is going to be an entrepreneur. There are entrepreneurs and there are people within enterprises who create some amazing products. In fact, one of our pet persons that we talk about is Sundar Pichai. Sundar Pichai is somebody who is employed with Google, but he created a lot of things. In fact, he created the Android thing itself. So there was a certain thing that was happening within the enterprise itself. So we can learn from those set of examples quite significantly that there are going to be people who are going to work on innovations within the enterprise itself. And the world tomorrow is effectively going to be about the Medici effect, wherein people who come with expertise of bringing two fields together will find unique set of solutions. Say, if you really ask, like when you talk about photography, very simply put, and the other one is going to be, say, something like art, culture, or whatever, then how can you create business enterprises with some certain unique skill sets that exist? So we are seeing that this is going to happen, and the government is also providing an impetus towards that direction. So if you really look at the emerging opportunities in green, what do you call economy, there are going to be things which are going to get created across the value chain. There would be
Okay.
small enterprises that also get created. There are going to be people who will start enterprises or start some set of initiatives within the enterprise itself. And
Sure.
it is expected that 17 lakh, what I call direct jobs will get created across the solar value chain. And the innovations will be important. How do you make that process more efficient? And similar niche set of opportunities will exist in the biotech sector
Okay.
that you would see, because biotech is all about innovation. So when you talk about a pharmaceutical enterprise or a biotech enterprise, he would have to find innovations within that space itself. So what
Sure.
we are seeing is even fintech, for that matter. Fintech will also see some creation of unique set of products over a period of time. So
Sure. You've mentioned
innovators.
the word tech so many times. Stay with us, Dr. Kapoor, because our next story is talking about the tech industry. You know, the world is constantly finding new direction, creating new frontiers, and that's pretty much how technology continues to take our world by storm. Now, the rise of AI and its applications in the tech space, they are redefining traditional roles. Product managers are among the key personnel who've been laid off by some of the major tech companies. The companies are investing heavily in AI, and that is part of a new paradigm. So let's assess the near-term consequences of this investment from the job layoff data that's available.
In July 2024, the trend of tech industry layoffs continued, with over 8,000 professionals from 34 technology companies losing their jobs. Throughout 2024, a total of 124,517 employees across 384 companies have been affected by layoffs. Many companies are adapting to the competitive landscape shaped by artificial intelligence. The Magnificent Seven tech majors are making significant investments in AI to steer the future of the tech sector. Despite the longer than expected returns on AI investments, Microsoft, Alphabet, and Amazon are pressing forward with their AI initiatives.
I think there's a broad array of companies that are eventually going to make money in artificial intelligence, but for right now, it's very narrow, and it's just the biggest few companies in the Magnificent Seven, much less those that are out of it. It's very few companies that are able to make money now in artificial intelligence.
Intel has laid off over 15,000 employees, representing about 15% of its workforce. CEO Pat Gelsinger attributed this decision to lower than expected revenue growth and the need to capitalize on AI trends. The company is offering voluntary retirement and departure options to eligible employees. Microsoft has let go of over 1,000 staff in the past 2 months, primarily from its mixed reality and Azure Moonshots department. Those affected were mainly involved in product and product management roles. UKG, an American company, has cut 14% of its workforce, amounting to approximately 2,200 employees. Intuit, another American multinational software company, has laid off 1,800 employees, or about 10% of its staff. Dyson has reduced its workforce by 1,000 jobs at its UK headquarters, citing fierce competition and rapid innovation as reasons for the restructuring. The UK is investing in potentially unhackable quantum internet, showing how artificial intelligence and quantum computing improve both computing power and security.
In other quantum technologies such as sensing and imaging, AI is already being used to take the data and make it process it faster and get more believable results. So AI is already here with quantum technology. It remains to be seen just how big a part it will play in the quantum internet of the future.
AI is already playing a major role in several tech-heavy sectors. But job cuts are also the result of sanctions. Russian internet security provider Kaspersky is laying off all its employees in the United States after it was forced to close down because its US business is no longer viable. Other companies in the tech sector are restructuring. The restructuring and radical innovation is affecting tech companies across the world, with some no longer finding their businesses viable. US banking company JP Morgan now sees a 35% chance that the US will tip into a recession by the end of 2024, up from 25% at the start of last month. The Economic Brief, DD India.
Dr. Kapoor continues to be with us, and we are pleased to welcome Prasoon Sharma, who's the founder, CEO of Worker Union Support, Semiconductor-Based Solutions, for his perspective as well. Thank you very much, Mr. Sharma. Mr. Sharma, what are the kinds of jobs that are becoming redundant in the tech industry?
Any job which is routine, repetitive, and initial level will be replaced by AI-related tools or solutions, whether like broadly the categories are 9 to 10, like routine IT support. Now you have chatbots or, IVRs to call, and there are some automated, systems which will do that. Anything related to content or data entry, that also there are many softwares and tools which can create. You just type your theme and you will get the content, whether it's text or image or video. Anything related to quality assurance, traditional testing, that is also automated. Process automation, which previously was manual, will be automated. So anything repetitive, routine, and of initial level will be, replaced by the tech-based solutions, mainly AI and ML.
Okay, Dr. Kapoor, is AI, bringing a tectonic shift to the economy of the future? And do you see an opportunity for India here?
Oh, definitely. I think, as Mr. Sharma was saying, there are going to be routine jobs which will get replaced. But within this, there is a huge opportunity that lies. So, we are going to be sitting at the cusp of creating opportunities which are going to be beyond what we typically are the basic jobs that we are actually doing. So creative thinking and output, which is going to be driven through human experience, this is where expertise will come in. So what we are going to see is that you will have to skill up people, which is already happening through many programs that the government is looking at. You skill them up and they will start finding newer opportunities. So the base level jobs will vanish, but there are going to be immense opportunities available at the higher stream. If you really look at the numbers here itself, and if you really look at the statistics, and they're absolutely stunning. One is that the Indian AI market is expected to grow at close to about 35%, which is absolutely an exceptional number that you're talking about. And we are expecting to reach about $17 billion in the next 3 to 4 years itself. So that means there are going to be jobs that get created, but they are going to be specialized jobs. So people will have to upskill themselves. And if you really look at the NASSCOM report as well, what they're saying is that there are going to be opportunities in machine learning, big data workers, because AI is something which happens in the past embedded data. For the future perspectives, you will still need people. And you will have to actually find people who are able to crystal ball gaze. And this is going to be a new set of skill set that will be required. I also see this tectonic shift happening because there is a positive impetus from the governmental mechanism as well. So if you really look at the budgets that have actually been announced recently, 10,300 crores has been allocated to the India AI mission. So when you talk about the India AI mission, so it is going to be strengthening the AI ecosystem, create possibilities across PPP models and so on and so forth. So the opportunities are there. We should not be scared of it. Like it's something like this. When computers came, everybody thought that the banking sector is going to collapse. Everybody's going to lose jobs. Nothing of that sorts happened. It expanded the opportunities. And that's the same thing that will happen.
Quality of life itself has improved vastly. Mr. Sharma, a final question to you. How best can techies up their game to stay in the game?
So, the basic thumb rule will be you need to get more specialized in particular domain, and also to consider, the paradigm shift in 5 areas first, mainly AI, ML, then data analytics, cyber security, cloud computing, robotics, and semiconductor-based technologies. So if any of the new techie who wants to be aligned with the future technologies, he must focus on these paradigm shift in technology. Also, he or she should gain some specialized either domain expert or process experts, because if you say AI is working in every domain, whether it's railways or financial sector or others, but we need that domain experts to train that algorithms, to create that data set, and also to test AI's accuracy. So we need more domain experts in 5 major areas like AI, ML, data analytics, cyber security, and cloud computing. So this is my answer.
Okay, thanks very much, Mr. Sharma and Dr. Kapoor. Thank you very much for being with us and enlightening us on these key topics that we've chosen today to focus on. Now, continuing with our program, thousands of people have been demanding a halt in Rio Tinto's lithium project in western Serbia. They are afraid the mining there could pollute the nearby land as well as water resources. And it was only last month, in fact, that Serbia had reinstated Rio's license to develop what is being seen as Europe's biggest lithium mine. This happened 2 years after the previous government had halted the process due to concerns by environmental groups. But, you know, the protesters are not taking this lying down. They don't want the mining to start.
It's famously called the white gold, a metal that will drive the future. World over, there's a race to mine lithium, which is used to make batteries used in electric vehicles. In 2004, British-Australian mining giant Rio Tinto discovered vast lithium deposits in Serbia's Jadar Valley. Rio Tinto proposed a mining site in Jadar, but the plan continues to face hurdles. In the latest, hundreds of thousands of people protested all over Serbia against the project. This came after the Serbian government, led by President Aleksandar Vučić, reinstated Rio's license to develop the mine.
This will provide a 0.7 billion euro GDP boost from the mining and processing of lithium. That represents nearly 1% of the GDP we had in 2023. Lithium mining, processing and cathode production will account for over 2% of GDP.
The ambitious project is backed by the European Union. If implemented, the $2.4 billion project could meet 90% of Europe's current lithium needs. But Serbian protesters are up in arms over environmental concerns.
The mine cannot be built on the agricultural land. In 30 years, you will have a desert there. Agriculture brings more income to this country than the Rio Tinto mine. And ultimately, for our health, lithium mining should not be allowed.
Protesters fear the mine will pollute nearby fields and water bodies, while the government says that the project will create jobs. Demonstrators also claim the mine won't benefit the country, as ordinary Serbians cannot afford products in which lithium is used, while authorities say that the project will boost Serbia's GDP. With President Vučić accusing the protesters of trying to destabilize his government, the proposed Jadar mine has become the center stage of an all-out battle. The Economic Brief, DD India.
That's all we have in this edition of the Economic Brief. We leave you with key business stories that are impacting the economic world. Hope you find the news profitable. From all of us here at the Economic Brief, thanks very much for your time and company. Namaskar.
State Bank of India, the country's largest state-run lender, increased its interest rates on loans by 10 basis points. India's Ola Electric launched the Roadster series, its first set of e-motorcycles, at a starting price of nearly 75,000 Indian rupees. China's factory output slowed for a third straight month in July, showing the recovery in the world's second-largest economy was losing steam. A US judge said he was planning to issue an order forcing Alphabet's Google to give Android users more ways to download apps. 5 law firms should receive $267 million in legal fees for obtaining a $1 billion settlement for shareholders of Dell Technologies, a US court ordered. Al Israel Airlines said it had signed a deal with Boeing for the purchase of up to 31 737 MAX aircraft worth $2.5 billion. Candy giant Mars is buying Pringles maker Kellanova in a $36 billion deal. The Hollywood Actors Union, SAG-AFTRA, announced on Wednesday a deal with online talent marketplace Narrative that enables actors to sell advertisers' rights to replicate their voices with artificial intelligence. Starbucks has said that its incoming CEO Brian Niccol was eligible for annual equity awards worth $23 million. And Cisco Systems announced a 7% cut in its global workforce to focus on high growth areas such as artificial intelligence and cybersecurity.